Hey guys, welcome into today's video. I picked up some new stuff at Sephora. The big items here are the new Tower 28 Sculptino Soft Contour Cream. This is a new item that just released, and one from Milk Makeup, which I'm really excited to try. This is their new Sculpt stick, so this is also a contour. The shades looked really good on the swatches on the promo photos of this. So we have two. We'll do like one on the cheek probably, and then one like up here on the forehead. I also picked up, and these aren't as new, but Sephora did just come out with some new eyeshadow palettes. So these are like the Destinations collection. I don't know, maybe these are limited edition, but I picked up two of them. I have never been a huge fan of the Sephora collection eyeshadows, but these looked like a different formulation, so I wanted to give them a shot. I also picked up, and these again aren't as new, this was the new Lawless like single shimmer shadow that did show up broken and I didn't take it back, but I've repressed it. It's a little bit dirty, but this is a fairly new release. I think maybe the end of December, beginning of January, so I wanted to give that a shot. Again, not as new of a release, but this was the Give Beauty I'm Still Here Lightweight Longwear Matte Liquid Lipstick. So I heard good things about this. I picked it up in the shade Tomboy, so I want to try this. And then a couple of other things that aren't as new of a release. I wanted to try this. I thought I saw Kathleen Lights talking about the Caliray So Blown Blurring Collagen Peptide Primer, so I want to try this. And since I was there picking it up, I figured I would pick up the Diffusion Tint from Caliray as well. I also picked up some new brushes from the Sephora collection. These are expensive too, like more than I thought that they would be. And even like more expensive in these Pro collection. There are other ones and they were really low on stock, but I wanted to get more of these. I think they're really good quality, and I picked up one for powder and one for blush. So I'm gonna try those today. I actually re-upped on my Tower 28 mascara, the Make Waves mascara, because I used up my last one because I loved it so much. I was like using it constantly, and yeah, it got pretty dry pretty quick. Plus my daughter was in here messing around. It's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's pretty much a full face. I'm gonna quickly do my eyebrows and then we'll jump into everything. So let's go. Okay, eyebrows are on. Let's go straight into this. This is interesting. Let's go straight into this Blurring Collagen Peptide Primer. This says Sexy Sustainability Turn-ons. 100% post-consumer recycled paper box and bioplastic tube plus 96% post-consumer recycled plastic cap means this beauty friend can go again and again. What the heck? Okay. Cruelty-free, clean formula, how to use. Smooth all over face before applying foundation or skin tint, or use alone for a blurred out, no makeup look. This says plumped and hydrated, beyond blurred, nourished with niacinamide. This looks like it is made in California, so made in the USA with a 12-month shelf life. Their little tagline is Oasis for your faces. And inside the box, it says, don't look down here. And then inside the box, it says, send nudes. Even without makeup so blown, makes your skin look so good that you'll start sending bare-faced selfies. Okay, this is hilarious. So it says it's a plumping hydrator, pore eraser, oil controller, and a makeup replacer. This is just a standard fluid ounce. I just pumped a very, very small amount on the back of my hand just now, and it looks like it's a pretty thick consistency. It feels like very silicone-y, has a scent to it that smells citrusy. It smells like straight oranges. So I'm gonna take about that much and just apply it all over the face. This feels so good and silky. This feels so good. Yeah, it definitely feels like a silicone base, but you can tell that it's like not. Like it's so nice and comfortable. I can see what Kathleen was saying. Like this just feels like a really blurring formula. It feels like it would fill in your pores. It's so soft. I could keep doing this. It's a very like smooth consistency. So it doesn't feel like it's quite dried down. It feels like it kind of leaves like a little bit of oils on the palm of your hand. It has a Camellia oleifera seed oil. So it does have like an oil to it. I could see that being really nice for someone with dry skin, which I have, like a pore blurring primer that isn't like mattifying because it does have some oils in it. So it feels like it's more dry skin friendly. Let's move on into the Caliray Freedreaming Skin Wellness Diffusion Tint. Pretty much the same thing. Sexy Sustainability, 100% post-consumer recycled paper box and 75% post-consumer recycled plastic bottle. I got mine in the shade The Two, a very light dream. It says shake it like you mean it. So let's just go ahead and do just that. This sounds really watery. I haven't really heard a lot about this. Like I've seen people use this and I know that like a lot of people were trying it when it first came out, but I haven't personally seen anything on it. Like I don't know if this is something that people are liking or you know, what the reviews are. Yeah, it's really watery. I gotta keep shaking this because I feel like some oils were kind of coming out on the back of my hand. Now that my back hurts, let's try this again. It's not as runny as I thought the formula was going to be, but I can tell that it's really lightweight. So I'm gonna use, you can't call it a pump, like what looks like a pump, and apply it to this side of the face. I'm gonna leave it there. Like that's as much as I'm gonna put on. I'm just gonna bounce it in with my sponge and do half the face. So I ended up picking up like what was left on the back of my hand. This is your barely there kind of skin tint. It looks so natural that if you didn't know I put this on, and like aside from the fact that you saw my redness before I threw it on, I don't think you could tell that I was really wearing any kind of foundation. It's just that like barely there, really nice skin-like finish. So I'm interested to see how it wears, because some of the skin tints that I've been trying recently, even though they seem like they're really hydrating and they seem like they just don't offer like that much coverage and they really wouldn't like disturb the natural look of my foundation, a lot of them have been looking really drier on my nose. So I'm hoping this one doesn't end up wearing like that. I don't think that it will. I almost feel like I can feel that primer underneath and it just feels so good and smooth. Let's do the other half. That's it, applied all over. I think it's, like I said, a barely there kind of skin tint. And so far, I really like it. The ones that I was referring to that look dry, there was the Tula skin tint. I also tried the Summer Fridays one. And for whatever reason, they just weren't looking good on me. And I know that they were like this watery, super lightweight formula that just didn't seem like they would look super dry. But when I got them on, for whatever reason, right around my nose, they looked really dry. And I know that it's like a drier part of the year, but I still live in Florida. Like there's a little bit of humidity and it immediately looked bad on my skin. So I decluttered both of those, even though they're fairly new releases. But this one, I like the way that it's sitting and playing like with the primer already and like sitting on top of my skin so far. I'm gonna throw on my Best Skin Ever concealer from Sephora. This is a pretty full coverage concealer and it's a pretty dark shade, but sometimes I like to pair full coverage concealers with lighter skin tints just over my blemishes and under my eyes. While I don't mind like light coverage elsewhere, I still feel like I want coverage under my eyes and along my blemishes. And I think this one is a dark enough shade that it won't look bad. And since I'm on my Sephora train, I might as well throw on my Sephora Collection Micro Smooth, what is this? Multitasking Baked Face Powder. And I think I'm gonna pull out my Sephora Pro brush, my powder brush, and try this out. Kind of like a big box for such a tiny brush. It could take a page from caliray and make this more like sustainable, less packaging, more product. I'm gonna say like my Micro Smooth powder isn't even that old from Sephora and it's already like hard panned, which is kind of annoying. I'm just gonna tap under the eyes and in the T-zone. This powder does give like a little bit of coverage, like it's tinted a little bit. I'm gonna go across the eyes as well. This powder brush is a really nice shape, but it's actually kind of hard. Like it kind of hurts these bristles because they're kind of tapered like this. Getting under my eye, I could like really feel them. I did stay away from like the outer perimeters of my face and where I'm gonna apply the contour. So I'm not gonna be able to test whether or not they really sit on top of powder. But I think what I wanna do, because I think the Milk Makeup is more of a contour shade, I'm gonna take the Milk Makeup in the shade Toasted and use it on the cheeks. This is a very recent release. The day that it came out, I do believe that it sold out like right away. And then I got a notification that it was back in stock. By the time I got there, it was sold out again. I went to one of my local Sephora's and they didn't have it in stock there. And then I got another notification that it came back in stock. And that's when I went online and picked it up. Oh, I just broke it. That's tremendous. I even rolled it up pretty high. It still took a chunk out of the top. It doesn't matter. I mean, this product will go for so long that Like, I don't even need the whole thing. Everyone was questioning whether or not this release, it was gonna be like the tiny one because they couldn't tell in the promo photos. But I know that a lot of us were saying that the original size, like the much larger Milk Makeup bronzer stick, was like so much product, no one was ever gonna get through it. So I wasn't anticipating this was going to be like the large one, because I actually purchased the bronzer stick for the first time more recently, and it was just the little size. They didn't, as far as I could find, they didn't have the big size anymore. I think this is a great neutral contour shade for light skin tones. I think what people are saying about like the shades in these is that they are perfectly matched for like the range that they have in neutral contour shades, because we've seen a lot of companies call their stuff contours recently and they have a lot of warmth to them. They look more like bronzers. I actually think I'm gonna take this blush brush from Sephora and I'm gonna use it to apply the contour, because it's kind of tapered, it's slightly dense, but it has a little bit of fluff to it. I think it'll work just fine. So I'm gonna apply it to this side and I'm going to blend it in. I really like their bronzer sticks, so I don't think that this is gonna perform any differently. It's maybe picking up the foundation a little bit. Like, is that how it looks to you guys? I think I'm just gonna try and pick it up with the brush for this side, because I think it pulled up some of the foundation here, just slightly. It's hard to tell. I don't think there's any warmth in this whatsoever. I think it's a really neutral shade. And so this kind of looks like, you know, some of my pink is poking through again. I think it did pull it up slightly, I'm gonna have to say. What do you guys think? Do you think drawing it on, I kind of pulled up some right here? Because this side doesn't look as pink. Like, this side actually looks like a pretty nice neutral tone. I'm gonna suggest maybe not drawing it. I do like to use these products. Like, I like to draw them on when they're in sticks because it's just convenient for me, but that may not be the way to go, because I feel like right here I turned pink, like it started to pull up the foundation a little bit. All right, let's go into the, where the heck is it? The Tower 28 Sculptino Soft Contour Cream. This I feel like was more of a warm tone, so I feel like it really is one of those products where maybe it should have been called like a bronzer as opposed to a contour. This just looks like it's not as gray or as neutral as it should be for being the lightest shade in a contour. This is in the shade Broad. It's got a pretty thick layer on it. Like, it's thicker of a consistency. It's not as creamy as I thought it was going to be, because I don't think it's like as creamy or emollient as their Bronzino. Here's the shade. See, I feel like it does have a little bit of warmth, even for being the lightest. It's a nice tone, but I don't know that it's gray enough or neutral enough. I like the tone though. I can already say, like, I'm not gonna be mad at it. It doesn't have so much warmth. It's just not what I think of when I think of like a contour shade. Hope that makes sense. I'm gonna go on the forehead and I'm just gonna dip my brush in here. I'm using the same brush, but I did wipe it off, and I think I'm probably gonna get like something that goes a long way. So I'm gonna try and spread out just one tap and hopefully don't lift any of the foundation on my forehead. I actually usually apply these, like the Bronzino, for example, with a sponge. I don't think I've ever tried to apply the Bronzino with a brush before, but I think this application was nice. I think it's a light enough shade that it doesn't look like too orange on me. It doesn't look too deep. It's pretty. I just, again, like when looking at this, it doesn't look like a contour to me. This just looks like a light shade bronzer. In fact, I feel like the only difference between this and their actual bronzer is that that one has a little bit of red in it. Let me pull that out and let me swatch it against this so we can see. Yeah, this one has like more warmth to it for sure, but they both look like they have a bit of warmth. Like, this one is not a full neutral tone. So let's swatch the Bronzino. Yeah, this one's just a little bit more emollient, has a little bit more orange in it, a little bit, and obviously it's shimmery. There they are side by side. Do they look that different in color for one that's supposed to be a contour? So here's the Bronzino, and then there's the new contour, the Sculptino. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, I mean, I think Milk Makeup did a really good job with the shading of what they put out when they put out a contour, so I'm just gonna say that much. And I have a dedicated video on this, but this is the new Danessa Myricks. What is this called? The Yummy Skin Blurring, I don't know, Blurring Blush. It's not really on this package, but this one is in Rosé and Brunch. I am loving this. It is so, so good, so pigmented, really creamy, really long lasting, super easy to apply. This is like my favorite kind of blush product. I'm just like kind of obsessed with this right now. I think this is the brush that I even used to apply it. I do have a dedicated video on this, so I will try and like link it, but you can always check my channel. It's just so pigmented that I feel like I kind of like go in with one tap with the brush and then I spread it out across both cheeks, and it's really, really pigmented. So if you guys don't like a pigmented blush, I would try and like tap this out on the back of my hand after getting some on my brush so you can really diffuse the color like before going straight in. I personally like a ton of blush. That's just like me. I know some people do like blush, like a lot of blush, like a punchy blush. I just like a lot, so the more the merrier, honestly. It's a pretty like matte finish, honestly. Like if you start tapping it out on your hand, you're gonna get a more like blurred, diffused look, but I would say it does have like a little bit of radiance to it if you don't diffuse it out on the finish. I'm just gonna take that same sponge and tap out the edges because I go in pretty rough. I love this blush. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is my favorite Danessa Myricks product ever. I didn't try the blurring balm thing that she put out last year. I didn't like the reviews. I didn't feel like I would know how to use a product like that. It just seemed like an extra step for me. So it didn't really interest me. But this, guys, oof, I love it. I would buy like every shade that worked for me. If I had a smaller collection, it would make sense because this would be a formula that I would just like love, like grab for all the time. All right, let's open these eyeshadow palettes from Sephora. They say the destinations, but they don't. Oh, this one is Turn Up the Heat, and then this one is Island Hopping. So let's open these bad boys up. This one looks like it's a warm toned color story, which makes sense for why I would get it, because that's what I like. Look, it's Florida. Here is the color story. Guys, doesn't this shade here look stunning? Let's swatch it. Sephora collection has put out a lot of cream shadows in the past that just didn't like pick up on the brush well for me. They didn't blend out nicely. They weren't overly pigmented. Yeah, this is like Little Florida right here. But look at this magenta shade. Isn't that gorgeous? Like match my shirt today. But yeah, these are all like super fiery, warm tone shades. This is exactly my kind of color story. These are not like super punchy shimmers, by the way. This one almost looks like a duochrome. Like it has multiple colors in it. Here is it swatched on my hand. Isn't that gorgeous? They're not overly light reflecting. They're not thick or anything. They're just a very thin formula. Oh, this one's a much creamier shade. This light shimmer, it actually feels like a cream shadow. This one right here. I will say right now though, like this top row is really, really similar when you're looking at it in person. These don't look like they would make that much of a difference on the eye, unfortunately. Let's open this next one. Okay, this is not Florida. We are now in Hawaii. What could be Florida? This literally looks like the beaches, like where I got married. This one's a cool toned color story, but it's also very beautiful. And you get depth in like the top matte shades. Bottom is all shimmers, the top is all mattes. I like them, I think that they complement each other. Let's swatch these three shimmers. They all feel like the same exact formula as the other one. Like the one over here, like the lightest shimmer felt like the most creamy. This one right here was a little bit harder pressed. And this one again kind of looks like a shifty duochrome. And that's what the other palette also looked like. Here's the Lawless one swatched. And I swatched like the deepest shades, like the deepest shimmer shades from both of the Sephora collection palettes. And I think that I want to use them in creating the eye looks because they're just, I don't know, they're so beautiful. So there's the one from Lawless. It's just more light reflecting than the other two. This is the deepest shimmer from the cool toned palette from Sephora, and this is the deepest shimmer from the warm tone palette. And so I'm gonna do one palette on each eye because I definitely wanna test them out. And what I think I'm gonna do is take the cool tone one, probably on my right eye. I'm actually gonna start, I think, with this lightest pan here, and then put this one in the crease, build this up in the outer corner. This is like a really, really light, like overall light color story. So I wish this matte was a little bit deeper because I just don't know if you can get a lot of depth with it. it. And then I'm going to take this one and I think I'm going to put it like in the center part of my lid and then use the Lawless on the lower part. And then the warm tone one, I think I'll take on the left eye. And again, I'm going to take this one first to just build a base. And then I'm going to take this one like in the crease, build the outer corner, put this one on the center of the lid, and then the one from Lawless like in the inner corner. I think those will both be beautiful. It'll be, I don't know, like a very Destinations, very colorful eye look. So I'm just going to speed through like the application of both of these. All right, my first impressions of these is that they're 10 times better, okay, 5 times better than the other formulation of eyeshadows that Sephora collection has put out in the past. A lot of them have been like cream to powder finishes or just cream formulas, and I haven't liked them. I can say that these are very light, like they're not overly pigmented shadows, and they create a pretty light look. Like there's nothing extraordinary about the looks that I created. I would say that like the deepening shades are very, very light. There's not a lot of depth in these at all. I think these are really good like beginner and everyday and travel friendly palette. I think you can get looks out of them that are pretty complimentary. I like the color stories, like I can say that for sure. I don't think there's anything revolutionary about them. There was no real fallout in any of them, and they all blended really nicely. So they're decently formulated for sure, but they're just not dark color stories. So I didn't get like super dark eye looks out of them, and you probably can't with the mattes. I like the pops of color in the shimmers though. That was actually nice. Like it's not out of place. I actually think that's what makes these kind of special. And this does look like a duochrome shade when it's on the lid. It's just really, really light. When it comes to the Lawless, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful single shimmer. It's just really pretty. There's nothing wrong with it. I think this is the only shade that she had, which is All a Dream. I don't remember her having another shade that released on Sephora. I think it was only this one, and I think it's really beautiful. It's not my best, most light reflecting single shimmer that I have in my collection, but it's nice. All right, I'm gonna throw on my Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. Love it. And I'm gonna hide this one and lock the door from my daughter so she doesn't ruin this one as quickly. I just love this mascara. I will be right back. Okay, my mascara is on. Let's go into this liquid lip from Give Beauty. This is the I'm Still Here in the shade Tomboy. Let us swatch this guy. It smells like vanilla. There's the swatch. Will it match the eye look? I have no idea. Are we going in without a lip liner? Yes, we are. And pretty precise line, very creamy. Seems like a formula that's gonna need to like dry down and be topped with gloss, because it feels like a formula that's gonna cause creasing. I wanted to pick up some of her new glosses too. I don't know what made me get this one, but I was interested in getting both. I think I need to like sit here for a second and let this dry down. This is a really nice, like My Lips But Better color, but this feels like it's gonna have to be topped with a gloss for sure. So let me pull something out while these dry down, because I think it's gonna start to like get a little tacky a little bit. It dried down like really nicely. It just is emphasizing my lip lines like any normal liquid lip would do. So I'm taking my Sephora Collection Glossed Lip Gloss. This one is in the shade Yes Honey, and it does have like a milky pinky tint. And I was trying to find a gloss that like didn't have a tint to it that was like from Sephora. And like all of them have tints, so. All right, let's do a final wrap up of everything. And I'm just gonna go over the stuff that is the new to me stuff. And we will start off with this So Blown Clean Blurring Primer. This felt so good. Like it felt really silky and smooth. Plumping hydrator, pore eraser, oil control, but it has like oil in it. So it feels like a formula that would be like blurring for dry skinned folks. So I'm excited for this. I'm gonna keep testing it out, but so far first impressions is I really do like it. Same thing with this, the caliray Freedreaming Skin Wellness Diffusion Tint. It looks really good on the skin. It looks like a barely there, but does offer coverage, like blurring skin tint. I don't know, it was really beautiful. It's paired with everything very, very nicely. Like this just looks so good. Like these two look so good together. Am I crazy? And even the Sephora Collection powder, like sitting in the T-zone, looks fantastic. Let's talk about our contours. So the Milk Makeup Contour, like it's good. Like it's the same formula as the bronzer. I think it's really nice. I think it's a good tone. It's a good neutral tone, light or fair skin tones, whatever the heck I am. I think it was beautiful. I'm actually excited for this. I don't have a stick contour in my collection that is this neutral tone for light skin. I have a lot of like liquid ones and not cream or stick ones. So I'm excited for this. I just hate the fact that it's priced where it's at for such a small component. Like that bothers me. But otherwise the formula and the shade was very beautiful. So if that's something that you like, I do think that it's a nice product to have. I think you can probably guess what I'm gonna say about this, which is, I think it's more like a bronzer. I mean, I did a side-by-side on it and it's just more warm toned, less gray toned, less neutral than what I would think of like something that sculpts. And it's more like a very, very nice shade for a bronzer for someone who's fair skinned. I think it's nice. I think it's pretty inexpensive. It's more like a cream to powder. I almost feel like the other one like had a little bit more tack to it. Like it didn't fully dry down and that's what made it so like shimmery and sheeny. So there were times where I didn't love the Bronzino and I do really, really like this. So I think they complement each other. I honestly would call them like two different finishes of bronzer. And not contour, but that's just me. I'm gonna throw this one in here from Danessa Myricks, the Yummy Skin Blurring Blush thing. So, so good. So good, you guys. I'm obsessed in love formula, love this product. Would think about buying other shades. No, don't. No, don't, Carrie. You have a lot. But this is really, really good. So it's, you know, it's a cream to powder finish. It's like a matte finish. It's just nice. It's super pigmented. It's my kind of blush. All right, moving on to eyeshadows, as you can see. I mentioned that these are very light color stories. I think that they're pretty. I think with the warm tone one, you get more of a fiery look. This is more cool toned and not as much depth. Like they're all just very, very light shades. You don't get a huge amount of depth in it. But I like the shimmer formula so much better than the other eyeshadows that Sephora has done, that I'd say that if you're a fan of Sephora Collection shadows, these are worth checking out. They're just, you know, they're okay. They're light color sprays. I wanted to give them a shot because I was such a hater on some of their older formulations. So I think these are good, travel friendly, very light color stories. The Lawless though, this is really good. I've never found anything from Lawless that I did not like. I love their mascara, my holy grail. There's like a lot of things from Lawless that I do quite enjoy. I haven't tried everything, so I don't know that I love everything, but everything I've tried, I absolutely love. So I think this is really good. It's not like, you know, the most expensive, but it's not the most inexpensive. So I do have similar products in my collection. So I wouldn't say like, this is a single shadow that you need to run out and get, but it's nice. And then finally, the I'm Still Here liquid lip from Give Beauty. I think it's nice. I think that's about all I can say about it. Like it's nice. It's a liquid lip. I'm not a hater on liquid lips. Like a lot of people, they're saying like liquid lips are out. You know, we're not into liquid lips as much as we were before. I definitely think this is formula that you have to pair with a lip gloss because it's definitely drier. And I do think that it emphasizes my lip line. So probably all the things that we know about liquid lips are true in this case with this product. I mean, I don't think that it's revolutionary. I don't think that it's the best. I like the shade. Like, it's okay. It's a good liquid lip, but you got to pair it with a lip gloss. That's pretty much the sum of it. So that was everything, you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope some of this was helpful. I know that these two things are the most recent launches and probably the thing that a lot of people are kind of looking for reviews out on now. So I do hope that you found this helpful. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Carrie. I should have said that at the beginning, but I hope you consider subscribing and stick around for more content. Guys, check out my channel if you're interested in seeing more reviews of recent releases and my full review on this blush from Danessa Myricks. I'm out, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye, guys.